Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy back for another episode of Bullish's top stocks to watch this week and why. Before we jump into it, as you know, a couple things. Hey, one, these are only my opinions. Do your own due diligence. These are things I'm watching, maybe playing, but definitely watching for the week. Thousands of stocks is consolidated to a few hitters and try to watch those versus trying to watch, all the possible ones, right? Give us a sub here. The second thing, give us a sub here, help me feel good about myself, but also follow real_bullish wherever it gets your social media poison. Let's engage, trade some ideas, talk some shit. I get a lot of good ideas from people that I engage with on Twitter or stock twits or blah, blah, blah. Stock twits, not so much with a grain of salt, but anyways, yeah, let's engage in shit. All right, jumping into it, with a good day tomorrow, we can have probably the strongest November for Wall Street in recent history. So that's interesting, but that is also paralleled by possibly the worst COVID month in history as well, with yearly totals hitting about 13 million and possibly rising after that after Thanksgiving travel. This past week, the AAA estimated 50 million people will travel for the holidays. Unfortunately, remember, it takes 2 weeks to test positive. So generally you see kind of testing positives go up, followed by an increase in hospitalizations, followed by an increase in deaths, unfortunately. Based on past holidays like Memorial, 4th of July, Labor Day, I would expect that kind of same increase pattern to happen here after Thanksgiving, especially with estimated 50 million people traveling for the holidays and for the 4-day weekend and stuff like that. 1,500 people died a day so far in the United States. So, hey, hey, wash your hands, social distance. That's very unfortunate. But hey, also, unfortunately, stocks are going to react the same way and kind of take, increases in hospitalizations and things into consideration. So I would be cautiously optimistic for this week as well, especially since we don't know how those numbers are going to react yet. OPEC has a meeting this coming up week. So look for energy and oil and gas to kind of react. People say that the markets don't like uncertainty. I just think that markets react to uncertainty. So, we don't know what's going to happen right now with kind of what OPEC's going to come out with. So, hey, just be on the lookout for energy. Energy's been having a nice couple weeks so far, I believe. So, hey, just look more of the same maybe for that, especially as they go into that. Tech should also have a week with some earnings showing this week. Some big ones like Cloudaria, Snowflake, and things of that nature. I'll go into one of them, but hopefully during the week, I'll kind of do, in-depth or like another look at like the other techs, because tech is going to have some showings this week later. So anyways, for the past week, hopefully you can see my screen. If not, then I'm kind of fucked. Hey, the Qs are kind of, up about 2.61% for the week. SPY and DIA up as well. So, hey, some really good lookings there. I showed Bitcoin as well here. So, anyways, looking at the QQQs, hey, they're just off of all-time highs of 303. So, we'll kind of see if they can break that resistance there. I was looking at Bitcoin as well last week. I played it last week for the rise up to 2K or 20K. It kind of eased off of that. I played it right for me. And then we had this huge dip now. I should have bought the dip on this one. I was like, hey, I don't really trade a lot of Bitcoin, but I was like, hey, I kind of feel comfortable it's going to touch that 20K. So I kind of wrote it up there, played it the right way, took a little bit of a loss when I got back in after the dip. I could have actually been good now, but I was like, hey, I don't really know Bitcoin all that well. Let me just kind of take this little small loss, still ahead, pretty good win there for me. Just kind of playing overnight, basically over a few hours. Basically, it's very volatile. It was a lot of fun, but I actually just found this chart that I can trade Bitcoin futures, so I kind of like it. I wish I saw this sooner, because you can, looking at Bitcoin futures, you can basically trade it as any other stock. So I think that's going to be really interesting. Hopefully, I wish I would have saw it earlier. But anyways, going into the Dow Jones, hey, it broke over that support line of 291. It kind of touched it again, bouncing off. Hopefully, so good support there at this previous resistance. Same for the SPY. But anyways, December can be a tricky month, but hey, there's tons of optimism for 2021. For me, I'm playing smaller and more surgical into what I'm playing in smaller and more surgical. Ooh, that was a sauna. That shouldn't be there. But anyways, hey, I am looking at Asana. My boy Cho Trades, like I said last week, put me on a Snapchat. He's right about that when he put me on Asana. I should have got into it. I should have got into Asana when he told me about it. It was about, what day is this? 11/23. Yeah, it was about that day. day that he was kind of telling me about, hey, like take a look into it. I like it because it kind of consults, because Asana's kind of like a Trello thing. It's kind of like, if you use it as Trello, like a team management, team like organization type thing. A lot of organizations use it. It's cleaner than Trello to me. I really kind of like the tech. It's a new IPO here. We'll see what it does here at this IPO breakout range. But hey, this chart is looking real good. It's MACD's increasing, RSI is increasing almost over bought areas. So I think Asana is going to be really interesting. When I haven't played it yet, like I said, I should have when he told me about it originally. I just didn't, but it was making a really nice base here. It couldn't break below this level. So man, anyway from like 10:30 would have been a great time. Definitely should have gotten into 11:12. Just kind of seeing it like can't break below this resistance here. That would have been a really nice play. Not to say it's not good play now, but not the one I was going to show. Anyways, if you know me, I love me some Tesla, and Tesla, I had to delete all the lines I had. Like I said last week, so 2 weeks ago on Monday, the S&P announced the inclusion of Tesla going down December 21st. They're still not sure how they're going to do it exactly. It's probably the biggest inclusions in history. So they're kind of, I think the last I heard, they're still trying to figure out what it was going to do. It's up about 16% to end last week. 500 previously, as we saw here, was acting more as a resistance over a few weeks, right? It was like touching 500 a couple times. And this is like from 831, right? We had a really hard sell off around 9.2 or something like that. So in that same week, we saw that really hard sell off. So it couldn't break that before. It was really hard resistance. It actually broke that as well. Now 600 is acting as the new resistance. I'm pretty sure it's going to break that as well. I mean, there's tons of time before 11/21 for inclusion date. And after that, hey, we'll see what's going to happen. But basically here, I expected a dip. So I didn't really play the kind of run up, because to me, it's kind of like a touch of FOMO. Don't let FOMO hit you. But anyways, it busted real hard past 500. Hey, as people said it was going to do. The great thing about Tesla, it doesn't look like it's going to slow down. This bitch can run hot, 86, 87 RSI. As we know, RSI, 30 to 70 is kind of like that sweet range. Anything above 70 is more overbought. So basically you usually look for corrections. But as you can see for Tesla, it can run 87, 90, I think previously, and it can still bust. So we're kind of a ways off of that at 74, 75. So RSI is picking up, which isn't the worst thing for Tesla. But also what I like about this, if you look at the week levels, what we're looking at here, I should change this since we're looking at week level to SMA probably. SMA, which it was already at. Okay, so if you look at it that way, the MACD, so over the week, hey, the MACD is turning bullish from bearish. You see this little green thing, the blue uptick. So it converted from bearish, bullish divergence. Hopefully it keeps on going. But the thing that's interesting to me is, and why I hadn't been looking at as much, because the volume isn't there. So I would expect with all these things looking really good, that volume over average will be there, and it's just not. So to me, smart money is not in this yet, even though with all the good news. Oh shit. And what I mean by smart money, that in like that big type of like industrial money, people that, hedge funds, 401ks, basically like not retail investors. I don't think they've showed up as well yet, because you don't see that volume of average. Even you see a decreasing amount of volume week over the past 2 weeks, even though it's made those gains. So, hey, I would take it with a grain of salt. Like I said last week, but didn't happen. Hey, don't let FOMO get you. But also, I would think that there's going to be a substantial drop before we see what its true new price is going to be, closer to the S&P inclusion. That's how I'm playing it, but I'm super conservative. You do see a lot of volume coming in, but there wasn't that volume over, like at the day over day level. You do see that volume coming in, kind of tapering off. Friday was kind of weird. And also, hey, when I think about it, hey, we had a day and a half trading, so maybe that's to say it's like why some of that volume is there. But even though I don't see that volume yet, I want to see volume over average like this with the green candle for me to feel good about it. But hey, things are looking the right way. I just think that, hey, you want to take that with a grain of salt. Like I said, S&P inclusion on December 21st. And what does that mean, S&P inclusion? Hey, it gives Tesla more credibility, more exposure to indexes and ETFs that deal with the S&P. They have to buy Tesla. From my understanding, they can only buy it closer to that December 21st date. So there's still a lot of time to see what's going to happen. But don't let FOMO get you. That's how I play. I don't let FOMO. I tried to conquer my FOMO. I actually have FOMO with Bitcoin. It worked out for me because I found the chart and I can watch it. But still, I was fucking scared as shit. Anyways, I like Tesla. I'm going to talk about Tesla every week, even if I'm not playing it necessarily, because I love it. I just finished Elon Musk, great book about just the insides of kind of him building the companies. And I think that, hey, the way that his attention to detail and his drive and determination is something that I'm just like, fuck, I would never bet against that guy. But anyways, jumping into the next one I'm looking for this week is Dick's Sporting Goods. And I called Dick's Sporting Goods out I called them out 2 weeks ago for their earnings, I want to say. And what I was waiting for, so I like to do earnings two ways. I do it before, so I look a week or 2 weeks before earnings, look for my criteria that I want to look for. So positive EPS, positive revenue, value, or sorry, the price is kind of like not extended, not bearish sentiments, bullish sentiments. I played a week before, play the earnings. I try not to hold for the earnings because even with fucking stellar earnings, you're going to see sell-offs usually. And I just don't want to put my money at risk like that. Unless I'm up, 20, 30%, then hey, a 5% dip, 10% dip, I think it's going to rebound for a company that I'm strong about. But anyways, I play the earnings before. I try not to hold. I try to sell like the morning of usually. That's why I like after market closes. So you have earnings before market opens or after market closes. Never during the day usually. I like that after market close because you can kind of hedge and play during the day and say, oh shit, it fell. Fuck, let me sell it off or whatever and protect my gains. But I also like the reversal bounce plays on good earnings. And that's what Dick's was. I played it before earnings because they had really good stuff that I was looking at. But also 11/24. This was actually a before market opening earnings for Dick's Sporting Goods on 11/24. And as we see here, let me see, 11/24. So yeah, it was about midweek. During the day, you see it right here. So I played the run up for that one, a week or so before it. So really good on there. I sold it off and then tried to catch off of the reversal because it did reverse, the day of, So hey, if you look into Dick's Sporting Goods, kind of like after that, yeah, basically, if I'm looking at here 24, people are kind of selling it off, like, oh shit, what's gonna happen? Really hard sell off here. I like to catch it at the sell offs because I was like, hey, good earnings there in the morning because earnings were here, sold off here for some stupid fucking reason. Double bottom here. Oh, fuck yeah. I'll take that all day. Scaling into my position, but I felt pretty comfortable at that because, and I'm going to tell you why I felt comfortable with getting back into Dick's, because EPS actually rose 287% over the past year. That's not estimates. That was the actual growth. 280% over the past year to $2.01, which beat estimates of $1.1. So huge beat on EPS, huge beat on revenue. Revenue of $2.41 billion, up 23% year over year, and it beat the estimate of $2.24 billion. So basically, it beat on top and bottom line. It beat on revenue. It beat on EPS. Not estimated. It beat that. It was already estimated to be above, and that's why I was looking at it, but it beat both of them. Online sales were up 95% for the year. Net sales and same sales were also up 23%. So not only is it beating the shit out of stuff, it's beating on online sales, but that online sales isn't necessarily cannibalizing its same store sales because same store sales, people going into the store were still up 23%. So I think, hey, it's beating all this shit. They have 1.1 billion cash in the bank. Another possible catalyst, the CEO, which is Dick's, is like a family-owned company or a family-led company, but that's not going to be the same. The CEO right now, I think his name's Ed, he's stepping down, and Lauren Hobart is going to be taking over effective February 1st of next year. And what I like about that is it's kind of new blood. She's about, I think it's about 16 years younger, so not substantially, but she's almost a generation younger than him. But her pedigree is actually, she came from PepsiCo. She's worked in finance and retail and banking, which I love because I've kind of done the same thing as well. But she has a very interesting combination of things that she's done. She actually came, like I said, from PepsiCo. When she came into Dick's, she's a chief marketing officer, which I love, not only because I'm in marketing, but also because like she understands digital. She understands that analog to digital trend of being an omni-channel platform for selling. And then, after about 6 or 7 years, I think at Dick's, she became president. So now she's actually taking over as the CEO effective February. So I think that's going to be really good catalyst going into next year. Get some new blood in there. I think the market is overall neutral for this, but when I looked her up, I thought she had a really interesting like lineage or pedigree of like things. She actually just got announced over the past couple weeks as on the board of directors of Yum Brands, another publicly traded company. So other companies are using her as well, like using her brain to kind of help them promote their company. Board of directors have a lot of power for companies, and she's basically was just appointed as another publicly traded company's board of directors appointed to them. So, hey, there's a limited amount of spots there, and she's taking one. So I think that's, hey, other companies as well, not just her own, are seeing kind of her impact there. So I love that. Another thing I liked about Dick's for this week and why I felt comfortable when I looked at after the earnings came out around this date here, when we saw that really bad decline for earnings. Like I said, hey, I like the build up for earnings when you see it happening over a really hard support, and then sell. Hey, it was feeling some pressure here. You see a triple top, quadruple top, it was going to sell off. Okay, it couldn't break that yet. We'll see if it has the power to do it now, but I felt comfortable doing it. That's just kind of how I played as well. But anyways, there has been a bunch of recent price target increases. I saw some go as high as like $80. We're sitting at 59 right now and some change. And so I've seen a lot of price target increases coming up. I've seen no price target decreases coming in after earnings. So I think the market is like medium bullish, medium bearish. It's not super bearish on it or bullish or bearish on it, but it's more bullish to me, the sentiment for Dick's Sporting Goods. What I did notice though, even though they had like a price target increase of like $20, their rating was still neutral. So they're not saying buy it. So usually you see a price target increase and then you see the rating change from neutral, so like wishy-washy, to like buy or strong buy. I didn't see those increases to the sentiment in terms of like not being neutral anymore. So it seems like the market is still neutral on them, but overall increasing the price target for them. So hey, I felt super comfortable with Dick's. That's why I liked it. So going again, S&P inclusion for Tesla, Dick's Sporting Goods. You play the before, you play the after. You can't say reversal bounce. Money sitting there. All right, the third one, I'm only going to go through three. The third one I'm going to go to is Cloudaria, and this is another earnings play. I mean, you know me, I like earnings plays when you get good earnings plays because, you play the before, like I say, play it before, you play it after. You try not to play during unless you're up substantially, because then, it's going to go down. Like we saw with Dick's. Dick's beat everything, but still, Dick's, I said Dick's a lot. Dick's beat everything, but still it sold off really fucking hard. So that's why I said, hey, you don't really know market sentiment. You can only play the hand you're dealt. So you play it the smart way you can, right? Another one I liked for this week for earnings play is Cloudaria. So they have, I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing that right. It's a cloud data analytics play, and that shit's hot. Tech is hot. But anyways, they have earnings on Wednesday, so December 2nd, after market closes, right? They have our earnings going on. And so the the reason why I like Cloudaria, and even looking at the charts, I think you can kind of see why I like it, because it had a really strong base here. I'll go into that. But anyways, the charts are looking good for me, especially week over week. Looking at it over the week, to me, hey, I liked it. And I'll go into that right now. I'll just leave it up here while I talk. But anyways, the average analyst price, according to Yahoo Finance, is about $13.43. So we're about 13 to 14% away from that price. So we're below. So we're not extended over. We're not like trading. As you can see, there was a sell-off, a super hard sell-off for it recently, but we're off. We're 14% off of what average analyst prices are saying it should be, right? And why I like it, estimated. So we haven't had earnings yet because it's not until December 2nd after market closes. But the same quarter year-over-year EPS growth is estimated to be 250%. So that is an increase of 250%. Fucking amazing year-over-year, same quarter. And also what I like about it, over the last 12 quarters, they have beat estimates 91% of the time. So not only do they have an EPS estimated growth of triple digits, they beat those estimates generally looking at the last 12 quarters 91% of the time. I will say though that looking at over the past 6 quarters, they only raise after earnings, so the price only goes up after the earnings about 50% of the time. So it's kind of like a coin flip with that one, but I like it because it's a good price. I think overall the market's more bearish about this one, so maybe I'm kind of digging too deep. Maybe I should overthink it. You don't want to be against the market. You don't want to be too far in front of the market, but you can be a little bit in front. So that might be a situation where I'm like too far, like thinking about it too much, because overall market sentiment didn't seem like too positive for Cloudaria. But again, it's not a huge fucking name. Unless you're in there, I've used it before, unless you're in there in the weeds. But what I like about it, hey, all of those things, like I said, playing earnings coming up. I played the earnings, trying to rip the earnings before. What I liked about it is and what I liked about it, if you look at it week over week, the way I look at it, it had a really strong decline, right? Starting, 4/9 of what is this date 18, a pretty strong movement down. I think that's fair to say over the last couple years, been a strong movement down, but then it hit this point here and consolidated. So around 6/3 2019, it sounded, over, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So over a month and a half, it made a really strong base here, building those Lego blocks up. And from there, it had a really strong increase here. It touched this level again a year later, basically, yeah, a year later, it came back and touched that level that it was at before. So that's not a coincidence. This is a significant area of support here at about 513, right? And from that, it's been on another march up. And what I like about it, if you look at it week over week, it's making from this dip here, it's making higher lows and higher highs, higher low, low, high. You know, it's getting bigger, it's getting better. It has a little, it has to break this. That's why I have this mark here of 1404. That's what I think you'll really start to see it pop when it breaks over this, if it can. It hasn't done it yet, but it's on a march up. What I like about this as well, looking at week over week, is this when it gets too far extended from this 10 EMA, it touches it again, you know, and it's been consolidating here, making some breaks. What I liked about this when I looked at it again for 10.6, so 10.26 for 3 weeks after that, it was using this area, this 961 area as a level of support. Which is why I looked at it and said, okay, cool. I know what my stop loss is. I know what I want to get out of it. And if you break it down to the day level, it's even more pronounced here. When I looked at it, you know, hey, basically looking at it here, I feel comfortable about this support level here because it's been respecting it. And then when it kind of did a breakout, I was pretty happy about that. So yeah, so I like this one because it looks like it's in a strong uptrend. It wasn't a downtrend for a while, but it looks like it kind of tried to break that. And hopefully with this good earnings that comes out, we'll see more of the same in it. Because like I said, it beats 91% of the time. I think there's a lot of upside here. When I look at it at the day level, again, hey, the price target's coming up. We'll see what it does with this area of resistance here at 1175, which is basically what it's at now. Yeah, so we'll see what it does here. Hopefully it can break it. It does look pretty bullish though, because RSI is not at 70 yet. It's going that way. It's still in an uptrend for your RSI right here, right? So RSI is going up. MACD is what I love about it, because the MACD, it was bearish for a while when it hit this low here, but when it finally broke out of that, it's looking pretty bullish here for the past few days, or past few weeks actually. The MACD it doesn't show any sign. This is even a stronger green candle here, so it's diverging from bearish to bullish, and it's going even further that way. So that I like the day chart of it. I like the week chart of it, especially the week chart. Now, the only thing with the week chart is the volume isn't there yet, but I would expect volume when it starts to break this previous resistance, because people are kind of like waiting. People are like, oh shit, what's it gonna do? So you could be definitely, like I said, you don't want to be too early. You want to be like slightly early to on time, but never late. If it was already fucking up here, hey, you kind of, I can see both sides of that. But anyways, to me, I was on time for it to slightly early, but I might be slightly thinking about it too much. But what I like about this is over the last 2 weeks, you see volume increasing. You see this smaller green candle, you see this bigger green candle, even with a shorter trading week over last week. It hasn't hit over average yet, but it looks like it wants to trend that way. You see some good movement here, and I think once you break this, you'll see a stronger green candle with the great earnings and people reacting to it positively. But also what I like about it week over week is this MACD. It's starting to want to touch. You see how it's like it's like so close, and it wants to cross over. I think it could do it, and basically it's setting up for a nice week over week with that. It has earnings, or hopefully we have some good earnings. But like I said, even with good earnings, you might miss out. But anyways, those are the ones that I'm gonna talk about for the week. Like I said, we looked at one that I didn't want to look at yet as well. But Asana, hey, Asana's a hot one. It has a lot of buzz. It's a Trello competitor, and it's better than Trello, and I got it from a good source. So Asana, Tesla, like I said, for the S&P inclusion for the run up, 600 is acting as a good level of resistance, but hopefully now we can start using that as support. Dick's Sporting Goods, because they had an earnings last week that just fucking blew it out of the water, honestly. But still, there was a reversal. Oh shit, wind and rain. But still, there was a reversal. People sold it off. People like to sell shit off all the time for no damn good reason. I think Dick's was another one of those things. Cloudaria, because I think looking at tech, and I'll probably do another one like Wednesday, Thursday, whatever, for another tech company like Snowflake or CRM or Salesforce or something. But Cloudaria is one that I was looking at. Hopefully, I'm not too far ahead of it, or hopefully I'm not wrong. But man, overall, it doesn't seem like the market is as excited for Cloudaria as I am. So that's probably a telling thing there. But I really appreciate y'all tuning in, and have a great week. Again, if you can go follow give us a sub here. That would be great. Make me feel good about myself. Also, hey, follow real _ bullish, wherever you get your social media poison, whether it be, Instagram or Twitter, or stock tweets, Reddit to a lesser extent. Stay bullish, fam, and good luck to all. Remember, wash your hands, wear a mask. I touch my face a lot, but don't touch your fucking face. And social distance. Y'all have a great week, and maybe I'll see y'all again, maybe like on Wednesday or Thursday or something like that, just to kind of like get one or two in there or something like that. But all right, appreciate it. Peace.